Here are Ryan's top 3 favorite wrestlers. Number 3, Will Ospreay. Number 2, Kenny Omega. Number 1, Master Wada. No way, that can't be right. Damn! Now back to Jack and Ryan on the MonsterCast.
LuFisto's comments about her experience in AEW. Now, there's a few ways you can look at this, obviously, which a lot of people have been dissecting it. A lot of people have been dissecting it incorrectly, which I'll get into when I go. But I would like to say I'm going to read the tweet that started this all off, and then I guess you can take it from there, and then I'll give my thoughts on everything. LuFisto on Twitter posted, and this is what started everything. This is not her other 6 pages of Instagram and her reply after the interview with Sean Ross Sapp and what she said with Sean Ross Sapp. This is literally what just kicked everything off, right? It's cute how people blame booking for a bad women's division. Talent with too much power, talent denigrating each other, talent trash talking potential employees so they never get in as soon as they walk in. It starts here. Signed, the one you called a fucking French Canadian asshole. All right. Now, obviously, that stays true with what she said in the Sean Ross interview as well. Pretty much all those things are exactly what she stayed true to. A lot of people, I feel like, took that the wrong way and didn't understand her initial tweet, because a lot of people are saying that this is her bashing the booking of the women's division, which is not at all. This is literally her talking about her experience and why she thinks it's not getting the time it deserves, not being well received on TV, is because there's too many hands in the pot, basically. Two hands that she doesn't believe should be in the pot. What are your thoughts initially from that tweet, and then obviously with the Sean Ross interview? I assume that you watched the entire thing. I watched the entire thing.
Yeah. So on the tweet itself, that claim doesn't really have any merit. So she's essentially saying that the reason that the women's division in AEW is booked poorly is because of certain personalities in AEW's women's division are undermining it behind the scenes with attitude problems or whatever the fuck. That is completely irrelevant. That's not why AEW, that's not what people's complaints about AEW's women's division are generally about things like screen time, or things like the storyline's not really making any sense sometimes, or not having any cohesion, or not really following each other week to week. So none of that is impacted in any way by, oh, some of them weren't nice to me backstage the one time I worked there. That's the other part of this too that struck me as a little bit weird. You've been there once. So you don't really have any insight into how this works backstage. You don't have any insight into what their level of influence is on the product. You might hear shit from one or two friends that you have that have also worked there a couple times, but you don't know how that shit works. My biggest takeaway reading it is that I 100% believe that she feels like people were being shitty to her, and I don't think it's okay for people to be shitty to her. That's my overarching takeaway. But underneath that, there's a couple things that are at play here. One, if everywhere you go, people are assholes, you're the asshole 100% of the time. That's just how it is. Two, any workplace that you go into and immediately don't vibe with, the reason that you're not vibing with them doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, they have too much control over the process, or they're in the owner's ear, or this is why the product is bad, just because you didn't really get along with them. That's especially not meeting them once or twice. I think she worked there. I know she worked there at least the one time, but how many times did she work?
It's the one time, but here's where I don't agree with what you just said at the beginning of that.
I thought I was going to do all mine and then you were going to go. Yeah.
Well, I know, but I don't think you're viewing her comments correctly though. So I'm going to stop you. So here's what I'm thinking. The thing where you're talking about the fans have a problem with the booking and the cohesion and stuff, right? Yeah, because that's all we see, right? She's telling you that it's not really the booking if they just leave it the way it's supposed to be. If it's just Tony Khan, or if it's just Christopher Daniels, or if it's just whoever is doing it, whether it's Dark, Dynamite, whatever, then it would be fine. But the problem is that she's saying there's too many people like a Britt Baker back there that's changing Tony Khan's mind, and then he fucking messes it all up because he's giving them what they want.
her working there one day does not give her the insight to know that.
I agree with that.
Way.
But now what I'm saying is that's the part where she's heard from other people. Because she'll be like, is that how it's always been? Or is that how it goes? And then somebody's like, yes, that's how it goes. And that's what she's running with.
She's heard that from people who probably, much like her, either A, haven't really worked there that much, or B, have whatever personal issue where they feel like they're being held down. But given the fact that broadly the entire rest of the locker room was like, no, that's not even fucking remotely close how it is, including people that didn't really do that much work there. I know Daddy Doom even came out and fucking said something too, like, no, that's fucking ridiculous. What are you talking about? I worked there like twice and everything was completely fine. So no, I mean, this is very clearly somebody that had a bad experience and is now rolling that bad personal experience into the company is run poorly. It's a completely
I disagree with that. I think there are clearly issues backstage. Now, I will say that Dark is probably not ran the exact same way as a fucking Dynamite, right? So there's probably less fucking structure to a Dark than there is a Dynamite. Clearly.
Or if you want to change your match on fucking Dark, do you think Tony's gonna be like, nah, we're using this as part of a big overarching story, so we can't do that? Or is he just gonna be like, yeah, fuck it, it's Dark. Yeah,
well, she couldn't even get the conversation with Tony, so how the hell is she gonna change the match?
I'm talking about Britt Baker changing matches.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Britt Baker was not involved in this. That's what I'm saying. That's what that's the part where I believe she's hearing it from other people. Because obviously Britt Baker was not on the show.
So why are you talking about it?
Well, she didn't really mention Britt by name. She mentioned Ruby Soho by name, who was in the match. She mentioned Dustin Rhodes, who was part of the fucking overseeing of the match. She mentioned the names that she needed to mention. But we have a problem with people. We have a problem with people that say that don't name names, and then somebody that does name names. Now we have a problem with them naming the names. She named the names who she had an issue with and why she had the issue with them.
From what I'm aware of, her and Ruby Soho had issues way before she was even at AEW, right?
According to her, yes, at WWE, she was shit-talking Shimmer, which she used to fucking wrestle in.
Right.
And then she used it as a crutch to say that Ruby was fucking shitting on Shimmer, where Ruby used to work, by the way, Heidi Lovelace. And then acted like it was a fucking, and then tried to kiss somebody else's ass by shit talking the fucking promotion that she used to get to WWE in the first place.
Okay, and people shit talk WWE too. And right now, LuFisto is shit talking somewhere she worked. What's the problem with that?
I'm just telling you why they had the issue. Why LuFisto had the issue with Ruby Soho, acting like Shimmer was a shit promotion when it's the reason that you got to WWE in the first place is odd behavior.
But don't you think it seems weird for her complaint to be, you complained about a promotion you worked for, as she's complaining about a promotion she worked for?
Well, I don't know what Ruby's actual complaints about. If they're overarching, just generalized fucking complaints and not specific complaints like LuFisto has, then no, it's not the same thing.
If.
Yeah, if. But she didn't go into detail, so I feel like it was an overarching generalized statement that Ruby Soho was making to kiss somebody else's ass backstage because they had a problem with Shimmer, and now she magically, oh yeah, I have a problem with Shimmer too, they suck.
Yeah, but they do the same
Agreeing just to agree so you can keep your spot.
Do you think people don't do that with WWE?
That's the problem though. That is the issue. People don't need to be doing that shit. We're always on here talking about politics are so fucking stupid to have in wrestling. I'm not going to sit here and deny that they happen, but that's not that I can't be on the same side and being like, hey, they shouldn't be in the fucking promotions. That shouldn't be how it's done. We've said on this show how many times when Janela came out and fucking Stunt came out and everybody's saying Kazarian came out. We all have the same fucking thing from these people. They're not all lying. There's clearly a structural and communication breakdown in AEW somewhere. Now, I want to say this because I'm going to throw this out there before you. No. Do what?
She worked there one time.
I understand that.
In a six-man match.
Okay. All right. So what?
What fucking communication is she lacking?
Did you not hear the conversation that she had with Sean Ross Sapp?
I heard it. Tell me what she wasn't given or told or what feedback. Like, there's nothing there, dude.
You think that Dustin Rhodes feedback was fucking credible?
I'm not saying that what he said...
Or do you want to break that up into a separate thing? We can break that up into a separate thing if you want.
We'll break that off into separate... Because I don't think that has anything to do with the company structure or, like, too many cooks or any of that bullshit. That's like...
No, I think she has had a bad experience during a fucking AEW Dark taping, which is not inducive of Dynamite or Rampage, right? I think it's a lot more loosey-goosey on Dark. Well, I agree with you on that. So if she had that coming out of that, that's fine. But that's all she's talking about. She's literally talking about her experience, though.
She's trying to relate that and make some correlation or causation, really, between the one bad experience that she had on like a YouTube show and what she's hearing from completely different third parties that she can't corroborate herself. And she's trying to relate that
Well, she could, but she doesn't want to put the names out there.
And she's
She doesn't
trying
want them to get in
to
trouble.
relate that and connect it to and make it. She's conflating this essentially with this is why the AEW women's product has so many complaints from fans. It's because of this mentality that I experienced for the fucking 1 hour I was there one time, however many years ago. Right?
I'd love to know your thoughts on this whole notion where you said, if everywhere you go you're an asshole, then you're the asshole. Where else has she been an asshole at?
So this is something that I believe MJF actually pointed out. This is
During the damage control tweets?
This is not me hating on LuFisto in any way. This is not me like talking shit about her as a wrestler or anything like that. But if you've been doing something for 26 years in an industry for 26 years, and you're actually really good at it in an industry for 26 years, I don't think anybody would watch her matches and say that she's a bad wrestler, anything like that, right? I think we can all agree she's a good wrestler. If you're good in your industry for that long and aren't getting picked up by really anybody other than small indie companies to do work for them, and the times that you do work for the major companies, you have a problem with the people that are there and then they don't end up hiring you full time, the issue is probably not the companies.
Okay, so let me stop you there, because in a vacuum you'd be accurate, right? I like Ultimate Warrior, right? Accurate. CM Punk, accurate. LuFisto did not work at WWE. She was visiting a friend.
Nobody said
all right.
WWE.
All right. No, just listen. WWE is the only big company in town for the last fucking 20 years before AEW came along.
Well, I just
So
said AEW,
what big
right?
company was she going to work for when the one time that she went for the NXT tryout, they sent her home because she had a heart condition and they said they couldn't fucking clear her, so they had to fucking disqualify her from the competition.
Short. Do you remember?
I'm saying that's
that?
why she wouldn't have gotten signed or gotten to do anything in fucking WWE. It was one of the reasons. Yes. Short, considered fat by everybody. By the way, people are still calling her fucking fat and ugly on fucking social media, which is fucking outrageous. Like, don't act like that's not a fucking thing that goes on in WWE. Action, though. I'm not gonna sit here and act like LuFisto's the most charismatic fucking person in the world. You heard her on the fucking Sean Ross Sapp thing. English isn't even her fucking first language. A lot of shit was getting lost in translation there on that fucking interview, where everybody was like, oh, she's all over the place. It's not even her first fucking language that she's speaking, bro. She's trying to remember something from 18 months ago and talk about it because it's still bothering her, okay? Now, I want to throw something out at you before you get going. Now, that's a whole separate issue. Like, if it still bothers you, that's fine, though. I don't care. Like, if you need to get it off your chest, then that's what you need to do, okay? But here's the thing I don't like.
But that circles back to if you have problems everywhere you go, and they
she just has an issue with it with herself.
Afterward,
she does not like the way that
months.
she was treated at AEW Dark, bro.
That's
which is a fine way to feel. I don't understand what the issue is.
I've never said that's not fine. The problem is you can't conflate that with, oh, you guys don't like the booking of AEW's women's division? Let me tell you why. It's actually because the one time I went there, they treated me badly, and now I assume that's somehow related to why it's being booked poorly.
She's
That's
using the information that she's gathered within the 18 months, too, though. She's never got the call back. She never got the... QT Marshall ghosted her. Dustin Rhodes never said shit until, of course, this fucking interview. And fucking she never got the thing... never got the meeting with Tony Khan. So, yes, of course, every time she sees that or hears something for 18 fucking months, of course it's going to eat at her to the point where she feels like she needs to say something so she can get fucking... We're going to get into SummerSlam in a second, man. I'm just trying to get over this right quick. I got one more thing to say, and I want to throw this out at you because that damage control bullshit pissed me the fuck off. All right, so we live in this world of... We live in this be a star fucking world and no bullying and, oh my God, what happened to Daphne and what happened to Hana Kimura? And then everybody just fucking piles on fucking 5 minutes after. Look at the timestamps of these fucking tweets by these women. Why do they think that helped the situation? Let me tell you something. LuFisto's match on AEW Dark was in April of 2022. The people that commented, these people that commented, Madison Rain, you were signed in August of 2022. Saraya, you were signed in September of 2022. Renee Paquette, you were hired in October of 2022. And Tayo, you were signed in March of 2023. You don't know what the fuck she went
Hold on.
through.
Is a
I
result
hate
of
that.
this thing that I experienced 18 months
That's
ago.
because that's what she's talking about, what she's still hearing from the outside sources,
And
though. Clearly, she
so
doesn't
that
know
means-
that.
Right.
Clearly, she doesn't know that. All they
doesn't.
had to do, though, Ryan, all they had to do was literally tweet at her, even if it was a DM, right? Even if it was a fucking DM. Even if it was away from social media, which it probably should have been, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All they had to do was like, hey, I'm sorry your experience was bad. We'd love to have you back. I'll talk to Tony or QT or whatever. It's not like that anymore. I don't know what happened, etc. We view you as a legend because a lot of people do. She's in the fucking Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame, first class ballot. And you're gonna and instead you're piling on to this person who clearly can't let the shit go that's eating at her, and you think that's a better idea. I'll start that shit. Let's talk about the Dustin Rhodes thing. No, I'm done with the other shit. Stop talking about the fucking other shit. I'm done with it.
Dustin Rhodes thing.
The Dustin Rhodes thing.
The Dustin Rhodes thing is different.
It's all connected in her mind. That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro.
And
it was
only in
all
her
part of
mind.
the experience that
And
she had.
Only in her mind. That's
Bullshit.
it. Go ahead.
Bullshit, dude.
Go
Bullshit. So Dustin Rhodes and fucking Ruby Soho are talking. She comes through the door, they stop talking. Dustin Rhodes was nice to her fucking not even 5-10 minutes ago, and they had a conversation. She was a huge fan of Goldust, huge fan of Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes magically just comes up to her and says, so all French Canadians are asshole, eh? Now, I don't know what fucking Dustin Rhodes' fucking comedy is like, his sense of humor, but he doesn't strike me as somebody that is great at it. Probably would be having a dry one, right? So, like seriously, honestly, let's be real. Besides Goldust, he has never come off this screen as compelling to me, okay? So, so he repeats it again. Evil Uno's walking up, and he says, hey, Evil Uno, all French Canadians are assholes, eh? He's like, I'm French Canadian. And then they just start fucking talking, and he completely ignores LuFisto. LuFisto fucking goes to the back with the other 5 women for the match. They're talking about what they want to do in the match or whatever. She throws a stray, what people are saying, a stray bullet towards Sky Blue. Sky Blue was in the fucking promotion for a cup of coffee at this point, okay? So yes, she was quiet. All she did was say that she was quiet, bro. She didn't say she sucked. Like, I don't understand why you people are fucking taking this shit out of proportion. She said she was quiet. Who cares? Anna Jay doesn't really say anything. They say that Ruby Soho and Allie, who are on opposite sides of the match, obviously, are putting together the entire match. LuFisto says she's the only one that's not signed in the company at the moment, so she didn't feel like she wanted to fucking just butt in or whatever. Allie had already came up to her multiple times prior in the day and said, why are you even here? Which she thought was odd. In the match, when they're going over it, Ruby Soho literally says, hey, they're going to hit you off the apron, but you don't go off. The other ones will go off. We'll bring you in. I hit you with the finish. 1, 2, 3. She said, you sure? She said, yeah. So she stays on the apron just like they had said, but Ruby gets caught up in another little thing with somebody else in the match, and it takes a little bit longer for them to get over to do the LuFisto spot to end the match. As soon as LuFisto comes back to the back of the locker room, Dustin Rhodes starts fucking berating her for doing what she was fucking told to do by Ruby Soho, and guess who was nowhere to be found to have her back? Ruby Soho. But this whole fucking notion of this women's division is all together and we support each other. No one was there to support LuFisto. That tone-deaf goddamn tweet, which made no fucking sense and didn't solve anything.
Keep stepping, brother.
Man, I swear, he needs to keep fucking stepping out of fucking AEW because that was fucking dumb. And then now it's now deleted, by the way, because he knows it was fucking, somebody told him it was fucking stupid back there. That was fucking so bad and looked so bad. Now we got LuFisto deactivating her fucking Twitter account because she's getting fucking harassed constantly and bullied, and everybody just thinks this is okay. It's fucked up, dude. It's fucked up.
Hey guys, did you like that video? If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can also catch full episodes of the MonsterCast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And you can also catch us live every Sunday on Twitch. All links in the description below, along with some sweet merch from yours truly, the MonsterCast. Deuces.